I'm 60 and I still spar on this mat pretty much every single week. So if you're 35, 45, 60 or older and you train or you want to start, if you think that's not possible for you, or if you're already training scared because you're worried about getting hurt, or you think you can't really compete with the guys that are younger than you, of course, most martial arts content online is made by guys in their 20s or 30s at their physical peak. Nobody talks about, honestly, what happens to your training once your body starts to change. So if you're 35, 45, 60 or older and you train or you want to start, this is the video that nobody else is making for you. So here's what actually changes with age. Your speed slows down, recovery slows, old injuries begin to talk back. The mistake that almost everybody makes, though, is they keep training like they're still 20. And that's exactly how people get hurt in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. I can't afford right now to be slow. I can't afford for my reaction time to slow down. And what most people are not telling you is that there is a specific way to train to keep your body sharp and to maintain your reflexes. I can't afford to be slow anymore. And I can't afford to telegraph my punches either. Precision has to replace pure speed and power as my primary weapons. So we can improve speed by training your brain with particular drills designed to enhance not only your offensive speed, but your defensive speed and your ability to read punches as they're coming in, which I honestly think might be the biggest thing for people as they get older. They can still throw some punches, they still hurt, but their reaction time slows down because they don't understand what drills they need to be doing to keep that reaction time up. So one of the simple things that we use to improve our footwork is what we call the 4-inch rule. So everybody needs to be training this to keep their foot speed. We talk about it a lot in our videos. Whatever direction you're going, that foot moves first, and we try to keep those steps at 4 inches. Now, I know you see all these fancy steps and all this stuff on Instagram, but the footwork that you have to understand is simple. It's just 4 inches. So how does that help you? The more steps you take that you don't need, the longer it takes you to get where you're trying to go. So we have the 4-inch rule with your feet. We also have the 4-inch rule with your hands. So once you've assumed the proper guard, you don't move your arms more than 4 inches unless you're punching. So you'll get people that are very jumpy and they reach out, they cross their center line, they throw their hands down or they throw them out when they're trying to block a punch. And what we try to do is learn to keep everything inside. So what does that do for you if you're older? Well, it works for every age, but most of the younger guys are too cocky to listen. So we have a distinct advantage over them with simply understanding that wisdom is power. Along with the 4-inch rule, we have weapon first mechanics. So this is basically how you are able to appear even faster before you develop speed, which is by releasing the weapon first, not the body first. So if I lean first, you can see that a punch is coming. If I learn to let the weapon be the first thing that moves, it's very difficult to see that as it's coming at you. So if I'm throwing the jab, what I don't want to do is dip my shoulder, lean forward, drop my hand. It just releases. And then it's kind of difficult to see and a lot harder to block. We also, of course, want to work on the foundations of power punching. So when you're younger, you try to get away with punching hard just by throwing it as hard as you can, but there's no real mechanics. When you learn to add torque, rotation, and weight shift properly to all of your shots, you're hitting with all of your body weight, guys, and that's what we need to slow the younger guys down. Also, as we're training smarter, we're coming up with ways to develop that same kind of speed and stopping power without the drills that end up wrecking your shoulders, your knees, your low back, and your joints. I've trained thousands of students over the last 40 years, and I've owned 4 different facilities and of course here online. And I've seen the exact transition happen from people in their 20s to their 30s, 40, 50, 60, 70, and begin to keep training. And my guys that stuck with me can still fight. They're still fast, they still have good reflexes, and they learn to this day. The younger generation tries to rely on just that, youth, and we're going to outsmart them by out-training them. It's important to know that getting older doesn't mean you stop. It just means that you get smarter about how you train. I honestly feel like Joe Louis, who I worked with privately for 25 years, he was better technically at 60 years old than he was in his fights when he was in his 20s and 30s fighting full contact all over the world. Louis got better because he continued seeking wisdom. So what if we can incorporate that same style of training with you? And that's exactly what we do in Fighters College. Most training that people are doing is plateaued because it's a lot of guesswork. You get frustrated because, my elbow hurts when I do that, or, I try to spar with the younger guys and I get caught quite a few times and I think it's just because I'm getting older, they've got the edge. But that isn't the case if you learn how to train in a system that's built around precision. So we want techniques to be just right. We learn proper mechanics. We don't waste energy, time, training. Everything is focused on developing a certain set of skills, which is the way it ought to be when you're doing any type of fight training. Of course, we need the right amount of intensity so we can keep our cardiovascular up. We got to keep our strength up. But remembering that system, it's important to understand that word precision. Precision, it's not just intensity. That's what we want to be doing, is have a formatted plan of exactly what to do to put this together the right way to keep your joints feeling good and your skills still sharp. These are the things that we teach inside of Fighters College, and this is a system that's built to work for the body that you have right now, not the one that you had at 20 years old. We have wisdom, right? You learn better fundamentals. You learn to be sharp. You train smarter. You don't do things that are going to abuse your body. And training becomes way more fun even than it was when you were younger, because you can literally see your skill increase day by day when you're in a training program. Guys, I wish I'd had access to this type of training when I was younger. Instead, I spent the last 30, 40 years developing it, helping Joe Louis, who requested me personally to develop the training drills. And a lot of those drills ended up in his training manual. And since he passed 12, 13 years ago, I've been continuing to refine those training drills. And right now, we're doing lifetime access for $97. The link's down below. Look, if you're serious about training smart for the long haul, it's a great place to start. $97, you get the library of all of the steps, A to Z of building your stance, your guard, how to punch, the laws of power punching. Everything is included in there, as well as a big bonus is a lot of my private lessons with Joe Louis. I actually put there in the portal for you to be able to see, and you can watch those and see a younger version of me getting the crap smacked out of me by a legend. Hey guys, if you like the things that I'm saying, subscribe to the channel. Until next time I see you, keep your hands up, those elbows in, the chin down, and remember to thank God every day that you have the strength to go one more round. See you next time.